Welcome to the wedding series. If you don't know, my name is Robinson-Daley, and I just recently got married, and I thought I would do a wedding series just to help some of my viewers out. You see, when I was getting married, I never had any guidance as to what the process was in the UK and how you go about stuff. And you know what? Looking back on my day, I had the most amazing day, and thankfully, I have a personality that I know what I want and I go for what I want. But for those who don't, I think this series would be an excellent source of information showing you the varying details of marriages and the whole process that you've got to plan and you got to think about and take into account. And I think by us sharing with you our journey, it could help you as well. If this is something you're interested in, continue watching. And if it's even not something that you plan to do but you just want to see, continue watching.
In this episode, we'll be talking about wedding food and the food we provided at her wedding. Now, this was one area of our wedding planning that we wanted to make sure that it was extremely right. When I mentioned and I did that episode on food in our wedding venues, you would have realized that food played an important part in this because some venues were not allowing us to have outside caterers, and the options that they had for food caterers were very limited. With us, we want to provide multiple selections of food for our guests because at the end of the day, like, they're coming and we're asking them to spend how many hours with us. And then if they're coming to eat, I didn't want them to just have like, oh, tomato soup and then like what, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted them to have a selection. Plus, we know that our guests were mostly like of Caribbean descent as well as like African descent as well. Plus, we also have our friends of other races who were coming and wanted them to enjoy it. So for our food, we decided to go in and we spent money on it, and it was absolutely worth it. Like, we had options galore. I know on the program that was there in the afternoon, the reception program on the tables, it was saying the food was provided by Badger Palace. Badger Palace is only the place that we chose to have the wedding reception. They are not our caterers. They did not provide the food, so that bit was misleading. The food was actually provided by M&G Catering. All right, so M&G Catering provided this food. You're going to see the person who is in charge of this in a moment. But that was the DM I showed you guys previously when I said, Marlene, this is what I wanted. So this is actually a family of ours. It's Mervin's cousin, and she does catering, and that's what she does at a job anyway. And like when I thought of this wedding, I said to her, like, I want you to cater it because I've gone to her house when we go down to London, and she does the most amazing food. Like, listen, she can cook not anything, but when she cooks, you enjoy it. I was gonna say she can cook anything and I eat it, but that's not true. If she cook pork or shrimp and stuff like that, I wouldn't eat it because obviously religious reasons. But she is an excellent chef. And don't think that because she is family that we didn't pay for food. Honey, food costs money, and because we had so many like options, like anyone coming to our wedding can look at the thing. I remember when we went to Badger Palace and they said, okay, can you just let us know the menu so that we can print it out? And when we showed them, the guy was like, this is crazy, this is your menu. He's like, how? I've never had a wedding that had so many options. So this is her M&G Catering. Don't get it twisted. She does what she does, and she does it absolutely well. And I have no complaints. I didn't have much food at the reception, but honey, she packed us up. When I tell you that she gave Mervin and I like so much food to carry back to the hotel because we booked the hotel room for a few nights, so she packed us up with food. Never had to get up and go find food, nothing. Fruit basket, all sorts. Then she packed her parents up with food, and it was just lovely to see. And like a couple days afterwards, I had like family picnic, and then we all went to like Cadbury World and Sea World and so forth. And when we came back home, like, my mom had so much food from her that she had like could keep a whole feast and not cook one thing because there was so much food. Our guests were satisfied. They could have gone back and got seconds, thirds. Our driver, remember our Bentley driver, when we were on our way to the hotel, he was saying like the food was amazing, and when he went back she was just packing him up, and he keeps telling Mervin that, listen, I could not live with your people because they don't hesitate to give you food. It was never one of them weddings where you had to like satisfy with just what you got. If you wanted more, you could have gotten it, because we spent thousands on food, honey, and it was absolutely worth it. Because think about it, when we have 200 guests and everyone is eating a 3 course meal. You're having starter, mains, and dessert. Like, if you went to a restaurant, that would cost you, you know? So, doing a big setting like this where we're having so many guests come by and, food is there and so forth, like, yeah, definitely wanted to ensure that our food was good so that our guests could have something to eat, and it could be something that we could look back on and not like scream and feel bad for. So yeah, man, the food was on point. We heard it from our guests. We heard it from myself. I got to enjoy it like a couple days after. As I said, the day I wasn't eating much, but a couple days after, we got to enjoy it, and it was absolutely amazing. So thank you, Marlene, for the hard work that you've done for us, and I absolutely appreciate you for also understanding when we said we wanted to cater for vegans, pescatarians, all sorts that were coming there, and having options and letting me be able to choose whatever options I wanted, and you were just like, okay, cool, I'll accommodate it. Thank you so much for that, and I'm sure if you were there, you could also agree that yeah, you could have gotten food and the food was good. I think my takeaway for this episode would be that when you're having a wedding, consider food as one of your main or top priorities, because especially when you're having a lot of guests coming and you're asking them to spend time with you or how many so hours with you, you don't want them to be there and not have enough food or not be able to like the food. Like, that should be one of the things that spoils your day. And when you're having a number of guests, you have to understand that if you're asking for a 3 course meal, be open to understand that you may have to spend some money. Like, it would be nice if you could have a family member who could probably give you a discounted rate, or have someone who could give you a discounted rate, but that's not always the case. So ensure that you're open to be able to feed your guests and feed them well. Like, think about yourself. If you were to go to a wedding, what would you like to see? I think majority of like the plan that I did for mine was that when I went to a wedding, like, this is what I would want to happen. I would want to have options, or I want to have things that I could actually sit and enjoy. And I think for us, this is one of the main things, and we're happy that we did this. So thank you, Emma G Catering. I'm putting her like her details up again, just so if you guys want to contact her. She's very reasonable. She will not kill you, trust me, because when you look at other caterers and the prices they were given and so forth, like for the amount of food that we had, realistically, for the amount of food that we had at our wedding and the amount of options that we had, her pricing for us, yes, it was in the thousands. However, it was reasonable. We had 200 guests and we had so much food that she'd be cooking and catering each of those for 200 guests. Understand that it was very affordable. So we thank you, Marlene, for your hard work. M&G Catering, that's her company, guys. That's her number. Feel free to get it down. Reach out to her if you have an event coming up and you want her to come and prepare. As she specializes in Caribbean cuisine, but she also does Asian and Nigerian dishes as well. Plus, she doesn't only do weddings, she does receptions, birthday, funerals, baby showers, graduations, you name it. Okay, so get a number down, reach out to her, contact her for all your food requirements. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.